Okay, we're back. I got the diff out of the bike. I want you to look at, there you go. I didn't even take that side apart, pull that diff out. Like, these bikes are simple. I am actually very impressed on how easy it was to get the diff out of this bike. Undo the dry shaft. Once I got the diff unbolted and flopping around, I grabbed the diff and give it a yank, same way I would yanking the axle out. No pry bars needed. Out it comes. Now I'm going to show you the carnage. So I wanted to show you guys before I actually opened it up what I was visually looking at when this all went down. So let's start by looking at the side thrust cover. See the cracks in it all the way around? And you guys are thinking, oh, he's got the loose bolts. Yeah, I've been reading that too, about crown bolts coming loose and doing this and that. No, it's not the situation here. Let me give you some backstory here. So, I don't know, you guys might recognize this bike by these 10x14 big fat rims I got on it. But this bike here was on a dyno for half the summer. And Monster Fuel Injection used this bike to add or update, I don't know what he wanted to do, but he built a Z950 tune using this bike and dynoed the crap out of it, and I was totally okay with it. And we made maximum horsepower with this bike with a stock setup, right to the limit. It's dialed in, right on the money. Fires up cold, it's what you want. The throttle fluctuations are gone. It's 100% accurate throttle response. Rev limiters are spike. It's everything you need to do to make the most amount of power out of that engine. So it did exactly what we thought it would. Start breaking stuff. First thing to go was that diff. So I did a high flow exhaust on this. And this is all after I had it tuned, because anything from here on it's just going to make power, just like on an old carbureted small block Chevy. You start doing exhaust and tunnel rams and stuff like that, it start making more power. So we have a free flowing brand new intake manifold on this. Stock restrictions are gone. That manifold that I built for this thing, I actually ported it and took out all the sharp edges, so it's got a smooth transition into the throttle body, and it comes up to a 4-inch intake tube into a 5-inch body that has a decent air filter in it. I have a pre-filter going into this that I'm actually in the middle of finishing. I got a little hiccup because the diff blew up, because I went out for a little test hit in the driveway. And low range, this thing was always fun before. Low range, it just blows the tires off the back. Maximum RPM, as soon as you hit the gas, this thing was roasting the tires off the bike in the driveway. So good that I backed up to do it one more time, and a fresh strip of rubber on the asphalt, because it felt so good. I'm like, I gotta do that again. And I backed up, but it hooked. Tires were sticky because they smoked. That's how fast they lit up. I'm not lying. This thing really comes alive now with the exhaust, intake, and that monster tune. As soon as I hit the gas, the tires started roaring, and as soon as I felt it hook and bite, boom, the diff blew up. And that's what I was looking at, a big pressure stress crack. It looks like the crown gear tried to come out. But further investigation, the yoke fell off. And I'm like, oh, okay, the bolt backed out. But no, that bolt snapped. So there was so much force in that diff when those tires hooked up, and I had nowhere to go. And I don't know, I'm gonna say somehow the splines are probably twisted on that pinion, and it turned into like a corkscrew, and it started to, like this all happens within second. The pinion twist turns into like threads, corkscrewed, and it pushed the yoke off the end, snapping the bolt. And then the pinion, of course, dropped into the crown and jammed, locked, and then pressure cracked, all within seconds. So bone stock, you know, I beat the crap out of this bike. I try and do that stuff all the time. It wouldn't smoke tires or anything, but I was always beating on it. Now that the thing's actually making some real power, I got to be careful with it, obviously, because the weakest point was that bolt, and of course the new diff doesn't come with that bolt, so I'm going to be making another order here and getting it back together. But for you guys that have got a tune, if you got the monster fuel injection tune, like especially that tune, because I know for a fact that we've got, like, I think it was like 13 more horse, 14 more horse. We could have went further. We were all stock at the time, right? And it's a true horsepower gain, and those are the horsepower numbers. Now there was also torque that was applied to this thing, and that torque was up just about 100 foot-pounds, I think, from, I think it was around 60 or 62 foot-pounds. But anyways, it broke, so that's that. I'm going to pull it apart anyways and just confirm that the crown gear bolts weren't loose and all that stuff that people have been having trouble with, and go from there. But yeah, just wanted to share with you guys what's going on with the Z950.